Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason. I'm speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas, and I'm continuing my list of top 100 favorite albums. Today I am doing number 73 on my list, and number 73 is an album called Memory Almost Full by the great Paul McCartney. This album came out in 2007 and is his 14th studio album. Obviously, Paul McCartney, a legend in music, making so many albums. I mean, he's 14th studio album at this point. Obviously, he's just incredible. He keeps making albums that are so good. Such a late part of his career. At this point, I think he's well into his 60s when he made this album. I think it's a really, really good album. Obviously, he makes the next album is New, which I talked about on a previous video. Another album I really like. And then he made Egypt Station, and then McCartney 3 is the last album he made. So this is definitely getting towards, I don't know how many more albums he's going to make, but it seems like kind of getting towards the end of his career here, I feel like, with Memory Almost Full. In fact, I remember when this album came out, I thought, oh, surely this is his last album. Is he going to make any more? I don't know why I thought that. At that point, he might, retire from music, but he hasn't. He keeps making albums, and he's still making pretty good quality albums. Now he's almost 80 years old, so we'll see what happens. But I just marvel at what Paul McCartney has done in his life. And like I said, some of these albums, last albums that he's done, I think have been some of his best work, which is credible that he's not counting like what he did with the Beatles, but in solo work, he's just almost gets better with age, which is incredible. Obviously, his voice is not as strong as it used to be, but still very, very good. I saw him in concert back in 2017, and about 10 years after this album came out. And he didn't perform any of the songs on this album, didn't make it to the list, even though there's some very, very good, solid songs on here. But he's an incredible performer. Loved watching him in concert. An incredible musician, too. Can't take away the fact his piano work, bass work, acoustic guitar, lead guitar, rhythm guitar. I mean, he does it all, I think, musically. Even does drums on some of his albums. In fact, about half of these songs, he did all the music instruments on it. I mean, so that's incredible that he can almost make an album by himself because he can do all the instruments himself. Not to mention, what a great songwriter he is. My favorite songwriter of all time. So, of course, this is obviously, he's getting older. He's not really in the prime of his career at this point. His songs aren't going to hit the radio. They aren't going to be, hitting the charts that well. Still, the album as a whole went number 3 in the U.S., went number 5 in the U.K., number 6 in Canada. So the album itself still does well. I think anytime he comes out with an album, people are going to buy it because he has such a huge fan base. So his album is still doing well. His singles, he had 3 singles, it says, coming off this album. Ever Present Past, Dance Tonight, and Nod Your Head. None of them charted really as singles or did anything that big on the charts. Like I said, they're good songs, but just, he's just not going to chart anymore at this time in his life. He got 4 Grammy nominations: Best Pop Vocal Album, Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for Dance Tonight, Best Solo Rock Vocal Performance for Only Mama Knows, and Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for That Was Me. This is a really good pop rock album, I would say. It's a mixture, mostly pop songs, I would say, with piano, a lot of piano on a lot of these songs. There's a couple songs that are a little more rocking, like I said, Only Mama Knows and Nod Your Head, for instance. Pretty good rock songs. I mean, a little more heavier than the other songs on the album. And from I read, it sounds like he was starting to write this album or starting to make this album, and he kind of almost quit before he finished it, and he wasn't quite satisfied with what he had, and so then he stopped, and then he ended up making the album before this, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, which is a really, really great album. He made that one, finished that one, put that one out, and then came back to the songs on this album, I guess, or what he did on this album, and kind of tinkered with it some more until he was satisfied, and then this one came out. So it sounds like he didn't like it at first, but then as he worked on it, he made it to where he liked it and was happy with putting it out. So it almost feels like this one and the last one, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, are almost like a two-parter. Both are really good albums. Chaos and Creation in the Backyard's much higher on my list, um, but they both are fairly close together, and he's kind of writing the songs at the same time on these two albums. So a really good 1-2 punch, I think, with these two albums. And like I said, after Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, I thought, man, he's never gonna get up to that, how good he is on that album. And this album does really, really well. I mean, he comes pretty close on this one. So I'm just marveled at how he just never disappoints, Paul McCartney, for me anyways. Yeah, and he said that when he's making, of course, it's called Memory Almost Full. He says very reminiscing album, very album talk. He really sings about the past on this album, really looking back on his life. And you kind of see that in a lot of his songs. Really talks, kind of almost sounds like from his childhood and the past and stuff like that, which I really like on this album. Anyway, so the only song that really maybe you heard, it was "Dance Tonight." Was the song that kind of was out there a little bit. I remember being on iTunes commercials. They used to have Paul McCartney singing this song when they were really promoting iTunes. And iTunes, I guess this was a new album coming out at the time in 2007, so they were really promoting iTunes and using this song because it's a really great, catchy song, "Dance Tonight." It was the opener on this album and probably one of their more upbeat songs on here. And so going to my top three, "Dance Tonight" didn't make my top three, but really, really excellent song. Really like that song. Great use of sounds like a mandolin maybe or a ukulele in throughout the song. I mean, really great use of that. And of course, it's called "Dance Tonight," so it's really a song that almost gets you kind of moving. Excellent song. But some other songs that didn't make my top three: "See Your Sunshine," "You Tell Me," "Mr. Bellamy." Really good songs, didn't make it. "Mr. Bellamy" is a really interesting song. The piano is so incredible. Like, it's a very fast-paced piano. It sounds very complicated. I'm not a piano player, but just listening to it sounds like a really hard piece that Paul McCartney puts together on that one. I really enjoyed that. But for me, number three is a song called "Ever Present Past." Again, talking about, like I said, talking about the past and so forth, and kind of looking back at, and it's a very catchy pop number, I would say. Love the musicianship on this and the different sounds that come out of here. Like I said, it's one of the singles that came out here, so one of the songs that he promoted the most. Number two is a song called "Feet in the Clouds," which is a very interesting title. Of course, it really should be "Head in the Clouds," but the song he kind of paints this picture of like being in school and not paying attention because he's like daydreaming while the teacher's talking about whatever, and the teacher says, teacher says, "I have my head in the clouds." And but when he gets to the chorus, I love lyrically, he switches the metaphor or whatever to, instead of "heads in the clouds," he says, "I've got my feet in the clouds and my head on the ground." Anyways, he kind of reverses what the order should be, and I kind of enjoy that lyrically. And it's a really great pop song. Has one of my favorite moments where he gets to this one point where he just keeps repeating the same line over and over again. And there's this kind of great harmony in these lyrics that he's singing. And it goes, "Very, very hard, and he kind of gives all these different vocal things. "And I find it very, 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 very hard." And he just repeats that over and over again to the point where like how long is he going to repeat the same line? And then it ends with this really great hold out on the note, and then it cuts boom right into the chorus again, and just that transition from like this interlude to the chorus, it's so good. It really makes the song. Number two, "Feet in the Clouds." Number one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs that really of all time is a song called "The End of the End," which is a song that he wrote about his funeral, basically, and what he wants to happen when he dies. And just so beautiful lyrically, just talking about, basically like, don't be sad, because I'm going to go to a much better place. And this, my time here was special, so going to a better place is going to be really great, because I already was doing good here on earth, but then after I'm dead, I'm going to be in a really good place. You know, I love that imagery of saying like, don't be sad for me. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna do good. You know, and I want you to remember, you know, my past, remember all the good parts and of my life, you know, and stuff like that. It's just a really kind of great song of, you know, someday we're all going to die, and obviously you're going to be sad when a loved one dies, but I love this idea of like, don't be sad, be, you know, happy for my life, you know, and all this. And of course it paints this imagery of, you know, I'm going to a better life, of course, which I would think is heaven, going to heaven, which I believe in a heaven. So I believe that's true. When I die, I will be in a much better place called heaven, where there won't be any more sadness or crying or pain, you know, or worry and anxiety, grief, and all that stuff. So it's going to be a great place, dying and going to heaven. Still, I don't want to die right now. I want to live my life, but it's kind of assuring to think, don't be sad. I'll be in a good place, you know, and all that. So anyways, but yeah, so lyrically just beautiful. It's a really short song. It's not that long. And the piano is very beautiful on it. Anyways, just really probably one of my top 10 favorite Paul McCartney songs, which is incredible that this late in his career that he can still make some of the best music I've ever heard. Anyway, so that's my number one on the album, The End of the End. Anyway, so yeah, so that's my number 73 favorite album, Memory Almost Full, by Paul McCartney. And so thank you for subscribing to this channel, watching this video here. Please comment on what you think about this. Have you heard this album? What do you think about Memory Almost Full? What do you think about Paul McCartney and his albums? I'd love to read any comments, and I just really thank you.